Hey everyone, Andrig with Andrig's Aircooled Technology. Wanted to give an update on the Evolution 1 cooling fans and their availability. I did ship the first small batch that I got of inventory out to pre-order customers, so you should be expecting to get those in the mail basically any day now. And if not, some people may have already received some. Here's the actual production fan, what it looks like. So they are, some have shipped already. I had a small batch done, obviously, at the beginning, just to verify that everything was fine. So, I did all testing again with these things, fit and make sure it fit with the mounts, and everything went, was perfect, right? In terms of, these production ones, but you never know. I did have a batch of them before that had a mistake in them. So we have to make sure that's why I don't have the full inventory yet, but they are making a full production run now for me. And I'm waiting on a date, but they said about 4 to 5 weeks. And that was a couple of days ago. So probably 4.5 weeks from now, all the remaining orders that are pre-orders will ship. The pre-order price of $30 off is still valid, even though I shipped some of the pre-orders, because I don't have the full inventory yet. So I didn't want to raise the price on people when I'm still not really have them in inventory and I can just ship right away. So that's the status on the fans, and those will be hopefully on time in terms of manufacturing. When I get an actual date, I'll put another update video out for you guys with the actual date. But the fans look great. They're coming out great. They perform really well. So I think you'll be really happy with them. And thank you for the patience. I know a lot of people have been waiting. I mean, its pre-order started like the 17th or so of December, and here we are at the end of February. We still don't have full inventory for product for shipping. But with that mistake, everything got delayed. And I'll show you the. This is the one. This is one that one of the batch that had a mistake in it, and it was all in the mounting area. And you can probably see the difference between those two things. Pretty subtle in this video, but this one fits properly. This one does not. So that was the reason for the additional delay. I'm happy to report, though, that with fixing this, it actually improved the mounting experience. We've kind of refined this even a little bit more. So they're much actually easier to put together, but still have the proper interference fit. So I think you'll be really happy with them. And I'll go a quick update too on a dual inlet version of the product. We worked through all the design for manufacturing and injection molding. They are making a mold right now for a dual inlet version of the fan. So that is in the works, and I've put 50% down on that to have a full production run and everything. So it's going to take a while for them to do the mold, and then of course we'll go through the same process of they'll make some samples, they'll ship me the samples, I'll test fit those and performance test them, etc. Make sure everything looks good on them, so that we can ship. So that's going to take still quite some time. So I think mold will be done sometime in the end of April, early May, and then samples will ship to me. They'll only take a couple days, 2 to 3 days, depending on what day they actually ship. For delivery wise, and then so in early May I'll have samples to test with and make sure everything's good. And if those are good and there's no adjustments that need to be made, that'll be awesome. It'll be another probably 5 weeks from there before we have products, so it's probably going to be mid-June, in that range. If there are issues, we'll go through another iterative process where we'll tweak the mold. And we'll, do samples again. We'll test those samples, make sure the samples are good. So, but it's going well. so far, and I think you're going to be really, really happy with that. I kind of mentioned when I talked about dual inlet version, and I was showing a 3D printed prototype, that they perform much better than the old scroll cage design, and they do. My measurements on the prototypes were a 28.9% increase in airflow, and that compares to 21-22% with the scroll cage design. So good 7.5% increase over what I was shipping before. So not only will you get something that is just going to be bulletproof, just like these are bulletproof, you'll actually get something that performs even better. So probably later on I'll put, when I get those going and I have those starting to be available for ordering, and I might do like a pre-order after the samples or something like that, so people can start ordering early if they want. But having said that, I'll probably do a little video about when to use this one versus when to use the dual inlet one, because you can definitely overcool your engine. I had a customer in Nevada actually that had the dual inlet scroll cage version, and of course the new version will perform better, and he could not get his head temperature to come up to 200 degrees. And so he's definitely overcooling his engine in that case. So there is a case for using this one, and there's a case for using the dual inlet, depending on your engine and kind of how much power you're actually producing. So a lot of people want just the max cooling that you can ever get, but sometimes you can overcool your engine. And so, and in his case, it's not that the cylinder head temp would be a problem if as long as he got his oil temps up to at least 180 degrees. It can be an issue for in terms of that, but he had a EFI system, a Terminator Holley EFI system that replaces the single barrel carburetor on the engine, and if you don't get your cylinder head temp up to 200 degrees or above, it never leaves learning mode, and it stays in that mode, and it never goes to closed loop mode. And of course, it keeps the mixture enriched because the engine's too cold and it wants to heat up. Once it heats up, then it kind of leans out the mixture. So with that, you just get terrible gas mileage, and it doesn't really work well for EFI if you do that. Now, if he was carbureted or whatever, as long as he had his heat risers going, probably be just fine. Although he is, probably oil temps will be way too low, which means you'll get acid formation in the oil. So we don't want to do that. So you definitely want, we want a spectrum of performance from a cooling perspective to cover, much more milder engines versus much more higher performance engines. So I do have a customer that is putting my fan shroud with this and a velocity ring on a 500 horsepower engine, he tells me. So that's going to be a really interesting data point. It's probably the highest horsepower engine that I've put anything on, other than potentially one other customer. But he was running methanol in his engine, which, because of the heat vaporization effect of methanol being much higher than gasoline, his head temps were very low, stayed really nice, and he might have been producing in that 500 horsepower range as well. I'm not sure, he never really said, but based on what he told me about his engine, it was an Autocraft engine with Autocraft heads, etc., like 2.9 liters, etc., so that he was racing. So I suspect, he was close to that as well. So we'll see how that data point goes, but I'm going to post a video later. When we have all of those options on the market to kind of guide customers into kind of where do you want to start with and move to, because this with the velocity ring will work for a lot of engine combinations. The dual inlet version without a velocity ring or with a velocity ring will handle a whole bigger portion. Then you've got my fan shrouds and what they do. and the performance is even much better. So so there's kind of almost 3 real stages of kind of cooling capacity for various engine combinations. So we'll definitely talk through that in a future video. So appreciate the support. Lots of pre-orders, and I wish I could have covered a lot more people with this first small batch of inventory. But if you get yours, let me know that it came okay and everything's good. And hopefully, they do this production run as quick as possible, and I get those parts to you guys, and we'll have parts all to you guys in March, and then hopefully middle of June or so we'll have the dual inlet version fans available too, and you guys can put those to good use as well. So appreciate again the support. It's been great. The response to bringing this product back has been awesome, and I think the response to the dual inlet version will be really nice as well, because you're just gonna have a bulletproof product. Install it, forget it, it's gonna work, it's gonna last, you're never gonna have to worry about it. So thanks again, and stay tuned for more updates. Thanks, bye-bye.